Good morning to the world. My name is Dairuka, and I am a man of business. Not only do I work full-time, but I have two side hustles always on the go, including YouTube, where I showcase my love for my favorite game, Victoria 3. Maybe that's why I'm so drawn to the allure of a good company. And, with the advent of the up-and-coming Charters of Commerce DLC, now is a good time to focus on what I call the 5 most powerful basic companies in Victoria 3. You still have a few more days to enjoy what remains of 1.8, so don't just turn your nose up at this list and call it moot, simply because it's likely to change the moment 1.9 rolls out. So maybe see if you can finish an entire game based around those very companies, and give yourself a little head start on the wonderful promised changes that we can expect very soon. Naturally, because I'm focusing entirely on the basic companies, do not expect to see the Suez Canal or the East India Company on this list. This is intended to be a list that anybody can use at any point for any country. Also note, this isn't to say that other companies who are not included on this list are weak or worthless. This is just my personal list of what I consider to be the strongest or best companies, regardless of your given situation. Anyhow, before we begin, please take a moment to click the like and subscribe buttons. While you're at it, drop a comment about why I'm a derp for ignoring your favorite company. I greatly appreciate all support, and I always look forward to conversing with everybody, even if my time has gotten painfully limited over the past month. You guys are truly kings. Anyhow, let's get into the video. Otherwise known as the United Construction Conglomerate, or the reward for taking the third construction mandate from a power block, the Basic Construction Company is already well known and quite heralded by veteran players. This is typically a company that you will take later in the game, due in part to the fact that you will require 3 power block mandates to even be able to pick it, especially since very few of the existing power blocks run by Britain, Russia, or Austria rarely take this as their own pick. Thankfully, the gargantuan plus 20% construction sector throughput is beefy enough to make up for any shortcomings in timing. Regardless of your gameplay style, construction will always remain one of the most important metrics towards your success, and, as such, taking direct bonuses to improve construction will make you far more likely to grow and remain strong. Another major benefit to the Basic Construction Company is the fact that it gives the company the ability to give huge throughput and construction efficiency bonuses towards steel mills, tooling workshops, and glassworks, which are all heavily required in the construction field. You really can't go wrong picking the Basic Construction every single game. The only reason it's listed at number 5 and not higher is because it requires the 3 mandates to get in the first place. Oil is quite possibly the most irritatingly scarce commodity in the game. Worse than rubber, if only because oil is used in far more things than rubber is. So is it any wonder that the Basic Oil Company is included on this list? Getting a huge bonus to throughput and construction efficiency towards oil fields will give you a huge leg up over the competition, especially if you're already playing an oil-rich country like Russia. However, what really sets Basic Oil apart from the rest of the competition is the fact that it gives you a huge plus 10% state migration attraction bonus. By itself, this may sound small and insignificant, but it stacks with every other state migration bonus that you can find, particularly the migration mandate and the intelligentsia happiness bonuses. Making use of this bonus can put you in positions where you'll be drawing in millions to tens of millions of migrants to your country over the course of years. Of course, you will notice Basic Oil is a bit of a strategic pick, as a result of it requiring you to stack it with other bonuses to truly make use of it. Another issue stems from the fact that it is also a very late pick, requiring you to actually have oil in your country, which not every tall player is going to be able to make use of for every country. So for those reasons, I can only reasonably put Basic Oil at number 4. Unlike the previous picks, Basic Metal is one of the first companies that you will be able to build, and frankly, you will rarely go wrong picking it as early as you can. Every other entry on the list could be safely taken as the second pick or later, if only because of how immensely useful it is to have throughput and construction efficiency bonuses on iron. Iron, as you know, in the early and late game is frustratingly scarce, and it can actually end up becoming a bottleneck towards your growth. Usually, iron starts to putter out in the mid-game after you transition to steel, but you'll quickly find shortages after you started snowballing into the realms of 3000 or higher construction. Lead, meanwhile, is ridiculously difficult to maintain large quantities of, simply because of how rare a commodity it is in the world. Many veteran players use wood to make their glass if only to avoid running into severe lead shortages, making lead one of the greatest commodities to give throughput bonuses on, if only because glass never goes out of style. Unfortunately, by comparison, the steel throughput is not as useful as the resources throughput bonuses are. It does thankfully mean that you use up far less coal and iron to create more steel, but steel just isn't that useful as a commodity for those kinds of bonuses, which is why basic metal does not get the top spots on this list. The main determining factor for your country ever reaching 1 billion GDP is your population. It's far easier to get 250 million people to 4 pounds per capita than it is to get 100 million people to 10 pounds per capita. This is why basic food is given the number 2 spot on our list. The bonus 5% birth rate is an absolute must for anybody who is serious about reaching huge GDPs by the end of their game. Yet, that's not the only real benefit to basic food. By the time you've managed to get your lower class population to around 20 standard of living, you'll discover that grains, meats, and fish will fall off precipitously, while groceries will become extremely in demand. That makes food industries extremely useful to build quickly to meet the sudden changes in demands, and the construction efficiency and throughput bonuses will definitely help you clear the 15 and 20 standard of living hurdles that most players get stuck on due to the sudden changes in demand. Of course, basic food is a bit of an endgame company. You won't really be able to make use of food industries until the majority of your population is a high enough standard of living to even want groceries in the first place. However, if you're a smaller, taller country, you can't go wrong with grabbing this one early to get the most out of the birth rate bonus. Just don't expect to make this one profitable as a high peasant society like Qing or Russia until at least the midpoint of the game. For those reasons alone, I could not give basic food the number 1 spot. It probably doesn't come as any surprise that I pick Basic Steel as the most powerful basic company in the game. I'm actually willing to bet that the most picked company in the game is Basic Steel, simply because of how universally useful the bonus is and how easy the company is to acquire. Plus 5% state construction efficiency is literally free construction, a bonus so mind-numbingly powerful that it is applied to all forms of construction across all states without any restrictions whatsoever. Again, as I said before, Basic Steel is also one of the earliest available companies due to it requiring only level 5 or higher steel mills to create. Most veteran players could simply hammer out those 5 steel mills while keeping the level 1 production running, using up the steel on their tooling workshops just to beeline for this company. There's no need to wait for steel frames for this beauty of a company. To me, the steel throughput isn't particularly amazing, as steel production is seen by me as a filler job, but the state construction efficiency bonus associated with the company is astounding. More steel jobs are always a good thing, and being able to build them faster is always a great idea. You can't go wrong with Basic Steel as your first or even second pick. Just make sure to grab it as early as you can because it's always useful to have. I'd like to thank everybody who has watched this far into the video. Dates have already been dropped on the update, and I'm not entirely certain if the information contained in this video will remain consistent after 1.9 is released. Just consider this the last top 5 video for 1.8 and celebrate it as such. I'm very proud of it, and I'm proud that the series is still managing to garner attention. Thank you all for watching. If you're new to the channel, I typically do ransom playthroughs, so if that kind of content does interest you, make sure to click the pop-up here to see me turn Ireland into an empire of islands. Good night, and enjoy playing Victoria 3, and always remember, Hail Hydra Cat.